To understand inverse square law for photon beam, first we understand what is point source and divergent beam. In external beam radiotherapy, photon sources are often assumed to be point sources and the beams they produce are divergent beams. In this diagram, it is a medical linear accelerator, which is used for treatment of cancer, it having a photon point source. And this produce the divergent photon beam of different energy called X-ray photon beam. In this diagram, let us assume that we have a photon point source. It is the photon point source which produce divergent photon beam. And we assume a square field with side A at a distance FA from the photon source. In this diagram, this is square field with side A. And we assume a square field with side B at a distance FB from the photon source. In this diagram, this is square field with side B. In the diagram, first we consider 5 points S, O, R, P, and Q. There are two similar right angle triangle SOR and triangle SPQ. Look at this figure. Angle beta is common in both small and large triangle. Then we find the value of 10 beta in both triangle and we get equation 1 and 2. Now put the value of side OR, SO, PQ and SP in this equation. On comparing the value of equation 1 and 2, we get equation number 3. Remember, the equation number 3 is used in next equation. In last slide, we discussed how these two fields are geometrically related. And we get this equation. Now, we consider if this photon source emit photon, then it produce a photon fluence at a distance FA and a photon fluence at distance FB. This equation is used for calculating photon fluence. Photon fluence is the total number of photons which are passing through any cross-sectional area is called photon fluence. In this diagram, count the how many number of photon passing through area A and area B. We observe that total number of photon crossing area A is equal to the number of photons crossing area B. But photon fluence is different because photon fluence is depend on area. If area is different, then photon fluence will be different. From this equation, we get equation number 4. It's showing that total number of photon which is passing through area A and area B are same. From equation number 4 we get equation number 5. Using value of equation number 3, we get this equation. This is our final equation for inverse square law for photon beam. According to this equation, photon fluence is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from the source. This is called inverse square law. These are the other quantities which follow inverse square law. Number 1, exposure in air. Number 2, air karma in air. Number 3, absorbed dose in air. All these quantities are directly proportional to the photon fluence, so that it is reasonable to conclude that these three quantities also follow inverse square law. This equation showing that exposure, air karma, and absorbed dose are also inversely proportional to the square of distance from the source. In this diagram, this person get minimum exposure because he stand far away from the radiation source. This person get medium exposure. And this person get maximum exposure because it stand very near to the radiation source. Now we know that what is inverse square law. When a photon point source emit photon, then according to inverse square law, photon fluence or intensity of the photon beam is decreased when we move away from the source. For more videos, subscribe my channel and press the bell icon.